What is going on, everybody? I go by Philly Mike, and this is another episode of the Battle Birds podcast pre-game live, where we talk about the upcoming matchup, and we got a good one at home for a chance to get our first home run. We got the New Orleans Saints coming to town with a bunch of injuries. These are guys that, if they're not wearing the Saints uniform, you don't even know they play football, pretty much. But I go by Philly Mike, and go ahead and introduce yourself for the people who do not know.
What's good, everybody? My name is Steve. Some of y'all might know me as Stat Sheet Steve. Some of y'all might know me as Gate. I don't care what you call me. Just don't call me late for dinner. Let's go, man. Big, important game, guys. I think this is one of those games that could change the direction of the season.
Yo, that man. You know what it is. You know what it is. Your boy Philly Fresh, a.k.a. The General. Yeah, man. Big game coming up. Trying to get the first win. We already know, man. Mike, take us there. What we talking about?
Yeah, definitely trying to get this first home win. And this is a Saints team where it's hard to really pinpoint what we're going to get. They've been battling injuries all season, right? Michael Thomas ain't play at all. Kamara been in and out the lineup. They went from Drew Brees to Jameis, from Jameis to Trevor Siemian. What is going on with Taysom Hill? Is he a quarterback? Is he a receiver? Is he a tight end? Is he a running back? Is he even playing today? You know what I mean? All these things come into question. But the one thing the Saints do have is a reliable coaching staff, and they're able to make guys who shouldn't be able to do certain things do certain things. So if you look at this Saints team, although Kamara played a couple of these games that were close, Trevor Siemian and without Kamara, they played a tight game against the Tennessee Titans. It was 21-6 at one point, but they rallied back, and the kicker pretty much lost them the game because he can't make field goals. He can't make extra points. Well, I hope he's kicking today against the Philadelphia Eagles. But what is your overall thoughts of this banged up Saints team and how we can exploit them?
I mean, when you're down 2 tackles, you're down pretty much anyone that's a threat offensively. I mean, it limits you, right? I mean, you're going to play a certain style of football. I think they have a risk taker at quarterback. It's a guy who's played some NFL games, but I do think people are a little overhyping his performance. I think that you're going to see Gannon play aggressive in this game against this particular quarterback. With that said, man, I mean, they're playing with house money. They got every excuse in the book. They lose the game, they just say, hey, man, we were injured. We're the ones that got to come out and perform at home against an injured, beat-up offense. So, I mean, really kind of puts the pressure on us to outperform a beat-up team that, to be real with you, we should dominate defensively.
Yeah. I mean, when you look at the offensive side, 2 tackles being out, we know what that's like. We know what that's about, and it leads to catastrophe. But we can't take it. We can't take out that Sean Payton is a hell of an offensive mind. He's a hell of a coach, and he's going to get the ball out fast. So we're going to dive more deep into the defense, what the defense needs to do. But you got to play press coverage. You got to put pressure on these tackles, these young tackles, and also Trevor Siemian. You know what I mean? You got to make sure that you pressure him. If you do that, you should be victorious. But we're not going to act like on the other side of the field that they're not dominant. You know what I mean? When you look at what Lane Johnson got to deal with Cam Jordan, you look at their linebackers who play downhill, and they're going to try to make sure that Jordan Howard doesn't get going. And you look at the other defensive end. I can't remember his name right now, but their defense is definitely
Jordan?
Huh? No, I said Cam Jordan.
All right.
I meant the other dude. I can't remember the other dude's name. It'll come to me. But anyway, so when you look at the situation of the offense, I'm meaning the Saints offense, you should be able to dominate. You know what I mean? But the defense, our offense has to keep us in the game, but I think the defense should be able to win this game just by being dominant. Go ahead, y'all.
Yeah, and I wanted to exploit that kicker. Shout out to Smokeless YT. He said we waived our kicker yesterday, so we got Brett Maher at kicker now. And shout out to him. He's a Saints Sixer fan. That's how he found this channel. And I know he was waiting for this matchup because he knows I'm a big Eagle fan. And it's unfortunate for the Saints that they are banged up, but the Eagles in this so-called playoff hunt, I'm going to take every advantage, even though I do want to see this team compete against teams that I could feel, confident about, right? We got this big win against the Lions, and half of me said we dominated, so I'm going to take it. The other half of me said, why can't we just play competent football against other teams? Then we saw some competent football in the next two. Chargers lost, walk-off field goal, and then the domination against Denver in Denver. So I'm liking it. Our schedule is very easy. I think even with the banged up players we got here, this is still one of our toughest tasks the rest of the season when it comes to the defense we're playing. They are a top tier number 1 or 2, top 2 in run defense for a reason, but they were that last year when we ran for 200 yards, and that was 100 on the ground for Sanders, 100 on the ground for Hurts, and Sanders is back. What type of impact do you think he brings to this run game that we saw be successful for 3 weeks now?
Tough game to come back on, honestly, because he's alluding to it, which is, the Saints are going to have their blueprint out there of how they feel like they can win this football game, which is to be +1 in the running game. And that's what the Saints have done the whole season. I mean, teams that are successful against the run, they generally speaking get +1 in the running game to shut it down. So they're going to come at us to try to contain us, and they're definitely not going to let us gash them up the middle. So they know that's coming. They're going to commit to stopping that. Now, you can't stop it every single place. It's going to be a matter of, can we take our chances and hit here and there on stuff. The other side of it is that they're looking at Devontae Smith, and they're probably telling Marshawn Lattimore, I don't care what you do not let this young man go off. We need you to lock him down so we can focus the rest of the defense. If one of those two elements start to fail, you can't lock down Devontae Smith, or you're getting +1 in the running game, and Nick Sirianni is just beating you through pulls, through zones, whatever it is, then your plan comes apart. And that's the thing that happened to him last year, right? They thought that, we got an inexperienced rookie quarterback coming in here. It's his first start of his career, and we have a really good run defense. But what they didn't have was the outside speed to keep up with our outside speed, and we burn them with it. That's an interesting matchup, guys. I mean, it's going to be hard to dictate. I know some people are predicting a really high-score game. I just have a hunch that this one's going to be a defensive gruel. I feel like it's going to be fought tightly the entire game. And it's going to be a matter of, Jalen's been pretty good, minus the one play in the second half last week of not turning that football over. Mm-hmm. Simeon's been pretty good since he stepped in for New Orleans, but he does have a turnover history with Denver. So who makes the mistake that gives the game away? Who's going to make the mistake that gives the game away is almost kind of how I'm looking at it. In the running game, it's just a matter of they're going to try to get +1. Can Lane and can these boys get out there and just say, man, get +1 all you want. I could take 2 on.
Yeah. Real quick, shout to Eagles Flyer Brian Fuller with the $10 super chat. He said, let us hear Philly Nation. EAGLES, Eagles Fly. Appreciate the donation, Brian. And we got one from Robert Drennan, a $4.99 super chat. What up, fellas? It's almost a wonderful time of the year. This is when the Eagles turn up and the holidays come in and the Cowboys get into an accident, right? We're not going to talk injury accident, but what can go wrong will go wrong. And I'm going to hold on to that until they prove me wrong, right? Why would I give them the benefit of the doubt? Appreciate you, Robert Drennan. But go ahead, Fresh, if you want to talk about that run game, because I think that's what it comes down to. Our run game versus their D-line.
I don't think it comes down to that. I'm kind of reversed in the situation. I do think it comes down to if Jalen Hurts can make those throws, because it's going to be one-on-one coverage all day. It's going to be one-on-one. So are you going to be able to put the ball in those small windows to beat them, because they're going to sell out to stop the run. This is what they do. This is what they have done all year. What Gates alluded to, putting 8 in the box. But here's the thing with that 8 in the box. You still got another guy that you have to cover, and that is Jalen Hurts. And you seen what he did to him last year, and I'm pretty sure they're looking at that tape and they understand what this guy can do. Also looking at the tape of this year of him just running all over the field, no matter if we win or lose, this guy's going to get his rushing yards. So when you look at the running game, like I said in the beginning, Jordan Howard, they're going to try to shut that down. You're going to have to try to beat these guys around the tackles. going up the middle is not your best. I'm not saying don't do it at all, obviously, but you're gonna have to mix in. You're gonna have to mix in some things. You're gonna have to do some end arounds just to loosen up the middle a little bit. I would like to see some more some wham blocks. I haven't really seen too many of them this year. I think that's a way of getting the defensive end blocked, and he doesn't even see it coming, and that can open up the middle of the field. So when you look at this run game, I think Nick Sirianni, I don't want you to get into a position to where though you think that you can't run. Because I said this last week. A lot of people were saying they Denver was seventh, they was seventh. And I kept saying, yeah, but the numbers don't tell the whole story. This is different. I'm sorry, this is different. They're number one for a reason. The number tells the story. But it's not like they can't be ran on. You know what I mean? But once again, you did it. You put up 200 rushing yards last week. So we coming into a situation to where though the last 5 games we're number one also. So it's kind of like when this team is playing their best, you got the number one rushing against the number one stopping the run. So it's definitely going to come down to that. But to me, the most important things are if they stop it second down and first down, and now it's 3rd and 7. Jalen Hurts, you're going to have to be able to make those throws to keep this offense on the field and hopefully tire this defense, and then you can run it down their throats again. So that's what it come down to me. But real fast, Mike, I know before the half you were salty. I'll try to go to your live and Quez Watkins dropped that touchdown. I'm like, I know. That's all you was talking about last week. I just need Quez to catch a touchdown, man. And I said that to say this. Those are the kind of throws that he got. That was it's perfect.
Breadbasket right up in there.
Yeah, right up in there. And it was soft, so it's just like, So yeah, those are the kind of throws that he's going to make. It seems like he's trusting Devontae Smith a lot more. You get Dallas Goedert back. He only played one series last game.
And look good. Best throw today would have probably been the Quez Watkins, but it was probably the Dallas Goedert, and then he got cheap shotted.
I don't know how you don't call that, but
that's wild.
It is what it is, man. So yeah, man, that's how I'm feeling right now. The run game definitely is important, but if I had to go run game and Jalen Hurts making those throws, I'm gonna go 60-40 Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, I kind of alluded to that last week against the Broncos, right? Like I wanted to see them run. I know you were not really feeling how good they were against the run, but I knew they were going to be +1. They're going to drop 8 in a box. They're going to say, listen, they did it to the Ravens. If the Ravens are going to beat us, it got to be Lamar Jackson's arm, and they treated Jalen Hurts the same way, and Jalen Hurts made the throws when necessary, and we just bullied them even when they had numbers in the box. I think the Saints are going to play a more aggressive style defense with even throwing more in the box. I think they're going to try to confuse Jalen and do some of this, zero blitz things. Now, Jalen made the right reads, as Gate said in one of his last videos when he did the All-22, something that Jalen wouldn't do. He would normally scramble out. He stood in the pocket, delivered to Devontae, saw the 1-on-1. As Gate said, if a blitz is coming this way, it's +1, -1. You got to know how to throw to the blitz side and get that easy 1-on-1 matchup. Jalen's going to, as you saw the run game be a staple of the Eagles, we saw each week Jalen's pass attempts increase, right? So the first run heavy game was the Lions. He threw 14. Then the Chargers, he threw 17. Then he threw 20+ against the Broncos. And that's because the run game is becoming such a worry, a problem for the defense. They're bringing all the resources to stop the run. And that's all we asked for in the beginning of the season, is to help a young quarterback be able to make his reads easier with a run game. I didn't think the run game, I knew the run game was going to be good. I didn't think it was going to be this good. And with that, you see the growth of Jalen Hurts, and it got to continue. But there's going to be key throws that have to be made, as both y'all alluded to, and it's up to Jalen Hurts to get it. The Saints have allowed some passes deep this year. Best believe that.
Yes, sir. I mean, look, that's the thing is, can So you look at the running game, and I think the way the Eagles can approach a team like this that's going to try to get +1 on you, they're going to try to shut it down. It's like it's like landing those body punches, man. You're trying to win them. You're trying to take away their will to want to fight. And if you can do that, and you can create turnovers on the other side, I think that's when you can really hurt a team, right? Because they're overcommitting to stopping one element of your offense, and if that isn't stopped, it's demoralizing, right? I mean, if you're you're trying to get +1 and you can't stop it, that's a demoralizing thing to have happen to you as a defense. The flip side to it is, Mike, and I think Reese is kind of alluding to this in one of his points earlier, is that if we finally face that opponent that does have the defensive strength, right, that does have the commitment to stopping the running game and is successful, well, then this is what everybody's been saying. When that finally happens, we're going to see really where Nick Sirianni and Shane Steichen and Brian Johnson and Jalen Hurts are. Mm-hmm. So if it happens, what's the response? Can Jalen hit the open receiver, right? Can Devontae Smith shake a perennial Pro Bowl corner and Marshawn Lattimore? Because let me tell you, if Marshawn Lattimore gets burnt by Smith, you ain't stopping that dude for the rest of the season. His confidence is going to be through the freaking roof, because it's a pivotal moment for this young man. And I honestly, this kid's route running is something special, but he's going to get jammed today. I got a feeling Lattimore's going to try to get his hands on him. So, I mean, what does Nick do? Did we move these guys? Do we put them in motion? Like, what do we do? Because they're going to play man. They're going to man up on us. There's no doubt about it. Like, I'm excited, man. I can't tell you what's going to happen. I don't know. It's a good defense we're playing. But I'm excited to see how the team responds, man, because I have way more faith and I have way more confidence going into this game than I would have had 4 or 5 weeks ago. This would have looked like, oh my God, we got them where they got really, we should be able to keep up with them defensively against their offense. But boy, we're running into like a really, really bad matchup defensively against our offense. But after seeing the last few weeks, seeing the adjustments this coaching staff has made, seeing Jalen Hurts start to progress, start looking good, start actually, he looks like a guy that can stand in a pocket, throw a football now. Like, when you see those things happen, it's intriguing, guys. I mean, that's what I want to see. Like, okay, here's the counter. They don't switch it up on us. They countered us. What's our counter? Like, what can we do, man? Like, how do we fight back from this? And, like, I feel like this team has more fight than it's been given credit for. I really do, because this team could have given up, and this could have been a bad, bad year. But they fought back. Man. They fought back, and I want to see how it goes. Or actually this afternoon. We finally don't have a 4 o'clock game for the first time in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, which is good. I like it. Get some normalcy, because I like to, chill back and watch the rest of the games later. But what is your take? The chat is saying it, and I just saw the Derek Gunn tweet that Kenny Gainwell is inactive. So we were asking this question all week. What running back would be inactive, and how would the flow go between Sanders, Howard, Boston, and Gainwell? So Gainwell is excluded. And now we have the 3 running backs being Sanders, Howard, and Scott. What is your preference of carries? Say, how do you want it to go? Do you want to see more of Jordan with, Jordan, Sanders, Scott? How would you mix it up? And would you use all 3, or would you stick to 2? What is y'all preference? And chat, let me know y'all decision. What would y'all do if you were the running back coach or calling this game? How would you mix match these running backs?
Reese, you want to go first on this one since you're the former running back?
Yeah, I'll go. Usually I will come out with Jordan Howard. I will come out with the Thunder, then hit you with the Lightning. But because of how good this defense is in the middle of the field, not the middle of the field, but you get what I'm saying, in the middle of the line, I would have to go with Miles Sanders. See if Miles Sanders can get to them edges. Like I said earlier, had them loosen up on the ends a little, to go to the ends a little bit, and then you can kill them in the middle, kill them softly with Jordan Howard. Boston Scott, to me, because Gainwell is out, he's my situational third down back. I think he has the best hands out of all 3. I like Miles Sanders a lot, but we all know sometimes he has the dropsies. I don't see that with Boston Scott. We've seen Boston Scott make amazing catch after amazing catch. Can't forget about what he did to the Giants. So when you look at the situation, of us having those 3 running backs and Gainwell being out, and I kind of knew that he was going to be the odd man out, as messed up as it is, because I thought that he could be used in this game in the slot, but that's the way that I would go. I'm starting Miles Sanders, and 4th and 1s, 3rd and 3s, all them kind of things. If you think that you're going to run a ball, or if you want to make it look like you're going to run a ball up the middle to get those 1 or 2 yards, Jordan Howard needs to be in. Just that threat is going to loosen everything up, because if he's in and Jalen Hurts is under center, you can hit them. You can hit them with some things down the field, because it's already going to be one-on-one coverage. But then now you got these linebackers that's stepping up too. That's going to be stepping up too, and you can throw over their head to a Dallas Goedert and a Tyree Jackson, who I hope he gets some more playing time. Like the kid a lot. And another thing about this running game, and I really thought about this, and I actually looked at the stats on it. As much as I love Zach Ertz, when the week he went to the Cardinals, now this could be just them running the ball more, but we started running the ball more consistently, and now that you have 2 to 3 tight ends that do block, that are willing blocking tight ends, it seemed like you're getting more production out of your run. Zach Ertz is not he's just a receiving tight end. He'll try to stick his nose in there, but he does, number one, doesn't have a body frame of a tight end to do that. Number 2, sometimes it just looks like he's not willing to. We done seen Zach Ertz plenty of times just pass up blocks. And when you got Tyree Jackson, Goddard, of course, and what's the other guy? Stro,
Stahl. Stahl.
That's his name, Jack Stahl.
Yeah.
The rookie the rookie tight end that we got. These dudes are willing blockers, and they're putting another body on another body. So that's another way that you can hit them. You can hit them on the edge, because Dallas Goedert is able to seal the edge. What if Zach Ertz couldn't do that? I'm not saying this just to pick on Zach Ertz, but when you look at the numbers, ever since he left, the running game has been way more fluent. Go ahead, y'all.
I think you got to get creative. I mean, if you're going to commit to the run and you know that they're going to bring and they're going to get +1, I think you have to try to find your matchups. I mean, I've been saying it for the longest time about trying to, incorporate more 2-back sets. You got a guy that you can utilize in Jordan Howard as a lead blocker.
Saw it in the Buffalo
play that role. Yeah, you can absolutely play that role. You can get even in the running game by doing that. But you got to be creative, right? They can't really see it coming. That's part of the thing. But at the same time, like Reese was alluding to, you got Goddard and you got Jack Stoll, who are really good blocking tight ends. Stoll's still kind of developing there, but he's been better than I think even advertised, to be quite honest. But he's still a young guy. Goddard, when he stands upright and he doesn't do that stupid rolling motion at the feet of defenders, he's got the physicality to actually put somebody on their backside. I don't know, man. If they go +1, this could be one of those games. You remember we were doing the cross zone a couple of weeks ago, and how effective that was, where we were using the tight ends to basically win those matchups and to create those holes. I think you can see stuff like that happen too, to where, you could be +1, but then you divide the field up. You know what I mean? And you look to the side where you can get an advantage real quick. I mean, I think that's what you have to do if you're going to commit to it. And I do think they are going to commit to an extent. I mean, I would be shocked if we came out and ran the ball less than 20 times. Like, it just seems like that's completely the identity at this point. That probably 25 or above is probably what you're going to see from the running game. If it's outside of that, I feel like that must mean that Jalen played well early on and they just were taking advantage of the situation. Like, I think it's the only thing that would knock you out of doing that, and then you're going to run late. But to be honest with you, that's what I would do, guys. I would try to find the most creative ways I could to get even in the running game if they're trying to get +1, which might be using 2-back sets. It might be the way that you utilize your tight end, which probably means it's going to be to the detriment of the play of some of the receivers, to be quite honest.
Yeah, it's tough for me. I'm definitely a person that is like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? We saw Jordan Howard and Boston Scott have success, even though, Miles Sanders gives you that home run hitter, right? Boston Scott can do it. You know, he had more explosive runs than Howard, but Howard has been the physical changeup that this team needed, right? We got a physical offensive line. Landon Dickerson is, you know, becoming a staple of the run game. He needs a little bit more, you know, he's young. He needs more work in pass pro, but he's been that staple with Lane and these guys getting to the second level. We know Kelsey can do it. So Howard's physicality, getting 3 or 4 yards after contact has been the difference, I think, in allowing Boston Scott to get easier runs because he's wearing these out. And in my video, I talked about Sanders coming back. I said, what better ways to chew it up with Howard, make these linebackers feel the thunder, right? The D line, the linebackers, let a cornerback get hit, bang, and then throw in the elusive Miles Sanders to take that 50, 60-yard touchdown run, right? We saw the stiffy to Malcolm Jenkins last year. Sanders went 70-plus yards for a touchdown. But again, minus that 70 yards, he only went maybe like 13 carries for 30, 40 yards. See? So the Saints definitely know how to stop it. I just think, you know, you get a little bit of everything, right? Howard is going to chew you up. Sanders is going to pull you out your sneakers. And Boston Scott is that guy. It's like, where'd he go? Behind 6'9" Landon Dickerson and 6'5", 6'6" Lane Johnson, right? So there's different elements. It's like one plays hide and seek. One's going to come find you and the other one's going to run away from you. I don't know, but I like the matchup. I just think that everybody needs touches. But if you ask me who should get the least, I think it has to be Boston Scott. I think you keep him around because guess what? We got the Giants up next, and I don't care what anybody says. We want the Giant killer Boston Scott to get some touches in that game. I think you keep him around. Thank you for the pause, Kenzo, with the stiffy pause. I think you keep him around, but I think it got to be a Sanders-Howard game, and that's what happened in 19, right? When Sanders was drafted, Howard was the starting guy as soon as Sproles went down. I don't know why he was ever the lead guy for us. He should have been a change-up guy. But the Howard and Sanders combination early on in Sanders' career really paid dividends for him hitting a hole. You know, I think watching and really being in the same room with Jordan Howard helped Miles because we saw Miles struggle with finding holes. I'm not saying he can't, but we saw it when Howard was MIA, right? I think we saw the explosiveness of Sanders his rookie season, and he had Howard as his compadre the whole time, right? So Howard goes away because of a stinger, and Sanders, you know, loses a little of it. And so I think the combination of Sanders and Howard's could be deadly. And let's not forget, Howard is only 26. Yeah. It looks like this guy is 30 because he's just been lingering around and NFL don't want to touch him. Well, I'm glad they didn't touch him. They made a mistake. He's 26 years old. He hasn't played football in 2 years. So, you know what? To me, he's a fresh 26.
See, and that's the thing, Mike, is like when you talk about trying to win those matchups, those little internal matchups and trying to divide up handoffs, it's hard to do, right? Because I don't know the game plan. That's the thing. Like, I don't know how Sirianni and these guys intend to attack them. Like, this is a pretty tough game to kind of figure that out on. I would have to be in those meetings. But I do wonder if they don't try to use a little more misdirection this time. When someone's going to get over aggressive, you want to hold their eyes. This could be a game where, I hate to say this name, for the love of God, don't get dropped for a 6-yard loss, please. This could be a game where you see Reagor use a lot of those jet motions and stuff like that to try to hold the discipline of the defense. I'm hoping we don't see no 6-yard losses because that's really hard for your offense to overcome, but that's got to stop with him. Sometimes you just got to take a 1-yard loss is better than a 6-yard loss. Sometimes you just got to give it up. It's not your fault. It didn't work. Just don't lose the 6 yards. He's, you know, it's funny because we get on Miles Sanders, but Reagor has that tendency too to try to dance a little too much and try to make more than what's there, and then it results in these like negative plays. And I agree with a lot of people that say, you know, Sanders isn't nearly as bad at giving up the negative yardage as it seems. It's just that when you have a guy like Howard that's always downhill, it looks worse than what the reality is. Because Howard just like, it's very, very few times that he gets stopped for anything greater than a negative 1-yard loss. Most of the time, it's either going to be line of scrimmage or like +2 or 3. Like that's pretty much stopping Jordan Howard, you know? We'll see, guys. I mean, I think it's going to be an intense game. Like if you love defensive football, I think this one could be quite interesting.
Yeah, I do think it's going to be a defensive game, but when you have the better quarterback, I do think Jalen Hurts is better than Trevor Siemian. You should come out with the win, but we do have to understand who is calling the plays, and the situational football. And not only that, I don't know what they're going to do with what's the kid name, man? Tight end / quarterback, whatever. I don't know what he is. But
Tyree Jackson,
yeah, no. I'm talking about for the
Saints.
Saints. Yeah,
It's, yeah, I know you're talking about.
I can't remember
Dude
the
that
dude's
started
name.
the dude who started last year against us.
Yeah. So putting him in red zone situations, that could be a recipe for disaster. But I do like what our linebackers have been doing. Once again, Alex Singleton, only 10 snaps, but I think he made the most out of those 10 snaps. You got TJ Edwards and Taylor, they're balling. They are really balling. I think they really found their 1-2 punch in the middle with those two linebackers. And you bringing in Bradley also. And they put Avery in on third down situations. These are the things that we've been saying since week 1. But they're finally doing it. And it looked like it's working. You know what I mean? So when you look at our defense, like how do y'all feel that we should favor not just with going against these, I guess you want to say janitors or whatever that's playing at tackle, but our cornerbacks with these wide receivers. Like how do y'all feel with Slay going against who
Callaway, I guess, will be their number one at this point. They got Traquan Smith.
Traquan Smith is probably the number one. I think so. Callaway has come up though. He has that's number 1, right? The dude number 1, right?
Yeah, I would say Callaway has been there. If you're looking at yards and production, he's been their guy. Traquan Smith is probably number 2, and I can't even go to number 3 at this point after they lost Emmanuel Sanders. I don't even know who their number 3 is. But like you said, Taysom Hill could be a factor in he can receive, he can run, he can throw, he can do a lot of things, and he gets worrisome inside the red zone. The same way we have a guy who can do a lot, and Jalen Hurts in the red zone, same with him. And I don't know where he's at. I don't know if there's any Saints fans in here. If anybody in the chat knows if Taysom Hill is active, but the biggest thing is the Kamara, Armstead, and Ramczyk, right? You got Armstead and Ramczyk are 2 not just starters, they're good offensive linemen. They're good. They're in the top 10, they're in the top 7 of their category, right and left, top 10 at least. And so you got an inexperienced quarterback. No tackles to defend them. And their one playmaker who helps in the run game and the pass game is gone, right? If you're asking me, I'm worried about Kamara over all the receivers and Kamara over all the running backs. Now, Mark Ingram is a guy who can run the ball. But if I'm Jonathan Gannon, this got to be the heaviest blitz package I'm going to bring up this season, because if they run to your blitz, the only way they're beating it is if they break tackles. You don't got to worry about Mark Ingram in the pass game and the receiving game, really. So you send the house pass, send the house blitz. You shouldn't have to drop back too much coverage. You don't got a quarterback who can beat you in many ways. You don't got receivers that can beat you. You got some speed. So watch the edges. Watch the deep ball once in a while, but you definitely have to have one of your heavier, aggressive game plans. And I don't see how a Simeon can do it. He's a backup. He's a legit backup. And he beat the Bucs. It was tied 7-7 when he came in. But it's backup quarterbacks always do a little different on their first game back in, right? Because they weren't prepared for them, blah, 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 blah. But look at what Trevor Simeon did since he's been starting. Quarter 1 through 4, they start slow. Yes, Trevor Simeon, when they're down 21-6, got nothing to lose. Just throw some stuff, and they came back against a couple teams. But this is a game that the Eagles must be aggressive. I want to see for the last 3 weeks, the offense has been carrying the defense. It's time for the defense to help out that offense. I still want to see the offense put up points. Why not? I want to sit back and relax and watch the Eagles game. But I want to see a game plan. We should eat turnovers. I want 3. That's a little extra. I want 3.
I thought it was even last week. I thought the defense did what they were supposed to do. I didn't think they got carried last week. They got a turnover, a touchdown. You know what I mean? They definitely complimented the offense very, very well. But I do get what you're saying. Like when we talk about the Oakland game, these are times that you want your defense to step up. So yeah, you owe us one. If I'm Nick Sirianni, I'm John again, you owe us one on this one. We know that their defense is legit, so I need y'all to act legit too. I need you to put your best guys in the best position to win, and I think he has been doing that. Now, the thing is, the situational football. The thing is, the pressure, like you were saying. I think that you definitely need to pressure him, but it has to be. It can't just be you see it coming from a mile away. You have to play with this guy's eyes and in this guy's head. Act like one guy's coming, drop him back. Another guy's coming, blitzing the safeties, blitzing the corners. You know what I mean? Like it needs to come from everywhere, not just the middle of the field, up the field from linebackers. You need to confuse this guy, getting off his first reads, and you're going to get the football. If you're not going to get the football, you're going to get him the punt because of, like you said, he's not experienced. So you take in consideration of him not being experienced and don't let him get a chance to get these. Still got a couple playmakers over there. Like, I don't know what it is with the Saints, but they always develop wide receivers. Like, they always do. So you got a guy that we're talking about. You don't even know who the third wide receiver is. He could end up getting 100 yards on us. You know what I mean? So these are, I mean, this is facts. These are things that we have to watch out for. But I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I'm confidently feeling weird about this game. Like, I'm confident, but I feel weird. Like last week, I told you how I felt. I thought it was going to be a blowout. And I thought they was going to handle business. I thought if you go up early, that Bridgewater was not going to be able to come back, and we seen that happen. You know what I mean? With this Saints offense, I don't know what's going to happen. Are we going to be able to go up early and then just coast, or is it going to be a dogfight the whole game? I don't know. Last week I did know because I didn't think that the Broncos defense was that good. But I know that this defense is legit. The last 3 games only giving up 66 rushing yards. That's something that I got to look at. At home, they give up 60. Away, they give up 62. So it's not even like a real type of length of them home and away. So when you look at that, they defense travels. So that's something that we definitely got to worry about.
Go ahead, Gate. Read what I got on the thing and ask everybody.
All right, guys. So
it's good. It's a good one.
Thank you, Mike. I was asking a question. I forgot that we're not all linked in. Sometimes we link all our accounts together, guys, but that gets annoying because like when one of us comments, it comments all 3 of us. But I said, chat, who is the player that no one sees going off today? And we've had a couple of pretty interesting answers. I've heard Kerrigan, which that would definitely surprise me. So good job on that one because you're definitely going to win if you're right there. I've seen who else? Milton Williams, Rager. Eagle Nation came in with Rager. 2020 said Goddard and Hurts. Somebody else said something. I think it was on one of your guys' chat. Somebody put up. I think somebody put up Derek Barnett. There's a few, a few names going on there. I like the Rager pick because here's why I like Rager. All right. I think Rager is the piece that you can move around the formation when you have them playing man coverage and trying to zero in on you and stop the run. So if you did things like Rager where you're doing those jet motions, but also use him in the backfield, put him in the backfield, let a linebacker try to pick him up coming out of the backfield on those angle routes and stuff like that. If you can get creative with a guy like Rager like that and give him those that's a very scripted read and a very scripted set of offensive plays. I think he could do something there because you're getting him in space with the ball. But I wouldn't put my money on it. It's something that intrigues me. I wouldn't necessarily put my money on that, but that definitely intrigues me to see a guy that could get utilized like that. The other one is that I'm wondering how much they pay attention to those defensive ends and how they crash. Remember, the Saints, they have a unique way Dennis Allen does of playing those defensive ends. He layers the pass rush, meaning one guy kind of goes shallow, the other guy kind of goes deep to keep the quarterback from easily just escaping the pocket. So I'm wondering, do they start because we do have a tendency to play some zone read and to do some option stuff? Might that knock them out of trying to layer that pass rush and maybe try to crash the defensive ends? Because then I really think that you got to watch out for a guy that could get the big play on you. which that's Miles Sanders. I don't know how, he's coming back from an injury. I don't know where he is, 100% in terms of health. He says he's 100% ready to go. You ask any guy that, they all pretty much say that. So, I mean, we'll see. I mean, but I definitely think there's some intrigue in using guys like Rager that way.
Yeah, I'm going to say this. I want to say Quez with a deep ball. You know what I mean? I had the gut feeling last week. I saw it be utilized. It just went through the breadbasket. There was a hole in it. Don't be surprised. I think Marshawn Lattimore, I don't think he's totally shuts down Devontae, but I think this is going to be one of Devontae's games where it's just, he contributes in a way where, you get their best guy to focus on him. He follows, he shadows him, and I think others eat. They don't really have that second and third corner. Malcolm Jenkins is going to be busy helping the run game. He's going to be utilized the same way we utilize him. He'll be in the box, watching Dallas Goedert on some bracket plays, stopping the run, watching Sanders out the backfield. I think he still got he want to get Sanders back for that stiff arm, right? Jalen Reagor, if we're going to go guys who are going to just jump out of nowhere, right? I think Jalen Reagor can get a touchdown and 65, 70 yards. And that ain't that great for other receiver. I'll take that for Jalen Reagor. You give me 70 yards and a touchdown, you know what I mean? Stay in bounds. Yeah. And I'm feeling good about this game for Jalen Reagor. So I think if I'm going to answer Gate City's question and just a guy coming out of nowhere, I think it's Jalen Reagor. He's going to show something today. Again, this was Jalen Hurts' first start last year, right? First start, first win for Hurts. And there was little up kick for Jalen Reagor. So maybe he sees this game, maybe he feels it. And I do think the shadowing of Marshawn Lattimore, their only really cornerback, right? They lost Jack Rabbit. Their second cornerback, I think, is Bradley Roby, right? That's what I think it is. Oh, no. They also playing that rookie, Paul Aduso, or what's he was a guy from Stanford last year. I think you were looking at him in the draft a little bit, Gate. What was his name? Paulson Adubo or
Debo, I think. Stanford. Yeah, the corner.
I call him, I don't know, but he got burned a couple times. So expect Reagor to get the easiest matchup on the field if he's utilized outside. So I think one of Quez or Jalen will go off. Quez is the more reliable source at this point, even though he dropped one. But if Jalen Reagor gets on the field, gets some snaps equivalent to him, I think one of them two get something going.
Well, see, and that's the thing, Mike, is like I would use, since you didn't activate Kenneth Gainwell, I would use Reagor in that Kenneth Gainwell, role. Like, don't even why sit there and keep trying to hit your head against a brick wall? There's not enough time to develop what you want him to do. So just avoid the whole thing of playing press corners on him and then having to worry about him releasing off the line of scrimmage. Use him to his strength, which is the athleticism. Put him in the backfield, put him in the slot, move him around the formation, play Where's Waldo with him, and then design the stuff for him. We know that if Devontae Smith is on his game, he doesn't really need you to actually define offense for him. He can win through his route running. He'll get there. He's got a tough matchup with Lattimore. That's going to be one of the crazy things I want to watch today is how he plays against Lattimore, because that's going to tell you a lot about this young man. But don't hit your head against that brick wall like you did it with Jalen Hurts. You finally realized how you got to put the offense around him. It's kind of a similar concept with Jalen Reagor. Understand what he's good at and where he still needs to progress. You got to back down a little bit to eventually go forward with development. I mean, that's the way I would approach the Reagor situation, is use him for where where his attributes are best for. We'll see if that happens, guys. Like I said, personally, I would not put my money on that, but if
I'm gonna go with shocking players, man. I mentioned this guy earlier. If we're going to play either 22 personnel, I know definitely not going to play 21 now, but if you are going to have, 13 personnel also, 2 tight ends on the field, especially when you feel as though you're going to be able to block, I'm going to go with Tyreek Jackson. I think that he can wind up getting a touchdown in a red zone from being in 13 personnel. And everybody's going to follow Dallas Goedert, and this guy probably gets a wide open touchdown. So I'm going to go with Tyreek Jackson.
He's a monster of a dude, man. Right? I just seen him on the field last week. I just throw it to him, right? This dude is a big. What is he? 6'7" or 6?
No, he's
6'9".
6'8". No, I thought he was 6'8".
I know he's up there.
I think he's like 6'7". I think
Just
it's one of those things where he's 6'7". And I think some change, but
I'm gonna look.
I just see him walking
big
by.
target.
I just see him walking by people, and they're all like up to his pads. I'm just like, man, give this man just throw it to him, right? Back shoulder fade. He had a great preseason. That is a good one. I forgot about him a little bit. He rocks 80. It's crazy just watching him walk by people. But
I think Jackson's thing is
they got him at
he was
6'7".
there for the install of the offense, but he missed all that time with the injury. So I think the reason you haven't seen him implement it more than just really kind of unblocking, and he had a route when he came open last week, and he wasn't the read. But it's more so like, where is he in terms of the understanding and the progression of the offense? I mean, I think as he the front office likes this kid. They're going to eventually take their shots with him, but I don't know how slow they're going to walk that in.
If he has a linebacker on him at 6'7", even if he's covered, he's open.
Yeah.
If Jalen Hurts puts it up, he's open. You know what I mean? Like, his route running could be better. He did come over. I think I know the one you're talking about. I've seen a couple of routes. It could be crisper, but with that big frame and that big body, it's going to take some work. That's one of the reasons probably why he went undrafted. But yeah, that's my guy, man. That's not my offensive guy. We're gonna get into that later, but that's my guy. I think that it's going to be shocking, man, especially with you finally got all the tight ends back. You know what I mean? Like Tyree Jackson being up here, the rookie that we talked about, and also Dallas Goedert. I think they're going to utilize all three of those guys. They kind of did last week. And then with Tyree Jackson getting more snaps because Dallas Goedert went out, it helps him. You know what I mean? It helps his profile, and it helps him have more game experience. So that's my guy. Go ahead, y'all.
Yeah. Real quick though, we do have 360 people watching, so make sure you hit that like button, subscribe wherever you're at if you haven't subscribed, and also subscribe to everybody on the panel. You got Philly Fresh channel. All you gotta do is search it up. Gate City Sports Channel and the Philly Tall Podcast, but the like button goes a long way, just pushing it to other Philly fans and some haters around the world too. Let them hate. We love to hate too. Ain't no thing but that. But yeah, we're at the 47-minute mark. We got about a good 15, 20 more minutes from Eagles Saints preview. Let me ask y'all, right? So if there's one thing you do not want to see happen with the Eagles, right? One of the things that they've done earlier in the season where it's like, we don't want this to rear its ugly head because it could cause problems for us. What is one thing you don't want to creep back up from the early part of the season?
I mean, it's not even close. The fact that you stop running the football. The fact that you get frustrated and say, oh, well, they stopped us 3 times, and now we just going to throw. To me, you cannot do that. You cannot be one-dimensional on this defense. I understand that they're number one. If you are one-dimensional on this defense and you don't have to be, they're going to eat you alive. You know what I mean? And I want to say another one, because we have not been seeing it lately. It's penalties. Damn.
That was mine. That was mine. And the chat started getting it.
My bad. Go ahead.
The chat started killing it too. I just seen penalties come out of nowhere everywhere in the chat.
I mean, yeah, because when you look at it, and I think was it this game there, or was it the game before? Derek Barnett, you got another one
on third down. Oh, he's on third down.
Yeah, like what are you doing? Like, didn't he get like a personal foul or something? Like it's just.
Yeah, but to be fair, I'm not going to criticize him on that play. That's a hard one to pull up on. It's just that
I get you.
You've committed so many stupid penalties. They're looking for you.
If your history wasn't what it was, you probably don't get that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Well, you're right, Reese. You just said the key word. If your history wasn't what it was, and that's the other side of things, is that you've been labeled as that type of player, so they're looking for you.
It's always him.
It's always him.
But when you look at it, we're not getting as many false starts anymore. I thought they did a great job of doing the what's it called, y'all? When the guard taps the center to let him know when to hike it. Because even though we kind of took over Broncos Stadium, the crowd was loud there, and you could tell. And they wasn't doing that in the beginning of the season. It was just Jalen Hurts screaming for the ball, and they couldn't hear him. So it was a lot of false starts. Now what they're saying is when we're away, we're going to have a guard tap the center, and everybody just watch the ball. Don't go off of Jalen Hurts' ear. Just watch the ball. And I think that's one of the reasons why you have not been seeing us getting false starts, and one of the reasons why that we're 4-2 on the road. Go ahead, Charles.
I mean, I like both of your answers. I still think there's one more that's out there. I mean, Mike went with penalties. You went with committing to the run and not, don't let yourself get fooled in that. I would say the third thing is to watch that soft zone. Don't do anything really stupid in terms of your zone coverage where it's entirely too soft and it's just give me's underneath all day long. But I think that's the other one is like your coverage has to match what you're trying to do along your line. Like you can't, you know what I'm saying? Like you can't have it both ways. You can't be 8 yards off on a 3rd and 7. That ain't gonna work, man. You're giving up too much ground. The other side of it is Steven Nelson needs to have he needs to have a good game because, oh boy, man, he's proven my point that I said in the offseason right, and it's not something that I want to be right on. Like Steven Nelson needs to play better. He really does. And the crazy thing is, and I know I would much rather be in this Steven Nelson situation than the situation we were on down the stretch last year. By far, I'd prefer Steven Nelson. I'd rather deal with this situation. But we're in the hunt. We have an opportunity here. There is this little sliver of an opportunity to have something turn into a pretty good season here, despite how bad it was early. But Steven Nelson can't be out there looking the way he's looked the last couple of weeks because teams are going to figure it out and they're going to start targeting. It's only a matter of time.
Yeah, and I know exactly what you're talking about, man. Jerry Jeudy beat him on a quick, on a deep route, a little give and go, whatever you want to call it. And Teddy Bridgewater overthrew him by like 10 yards, right? But he was beat up and out. He was legit beat. But that's what you're gonna get with Steven Nelson. Again, when you look at the Michael Jaquettes, the Craig James, the guys we were throwing out there, even newly paid Avonte Maddox, who I do think every once in a while you throw him on the outside a couple possessions a game, depending if a speedy guy from the slot goes to the outside, things of that sort, he could handle it. He just can't handle it all the time and against the bigger guys. But I'm with you. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say it's one more. I was waiting to see if the chat was gonna say it. I don't think I seen it, so I'm gonna say it. Missed tackles. Like in the beginning of the season, it was so many, and we seen it. Who was that? Font or the other tight end in the beginning of the second half?
Noah Font.
Like, dude goes for like 70, like damn, that's 70 yards on a missed tackle, 2 missed tackles. That can't happen. It was happening a lot in the beginning of the season. Kind of slowed that down. I think Taylor and TJ are making short tackles. You know what I mean? We already know what Slay does. Slay is a tackling machine. I think that's one of the most underrated things about Darius Slay, man. When he's on the outside now, there has been some times he got stiff arms and stuff like that. But when you see him and a running back is getting a screen and he's running down, you're not getting past him. But I definitely don't want that to wreak its ugly head again. Is us starting to keep missing tackles, man, because this is where teams that like to dink and dunk, they flourish. They flourish on tackles and missed tackles. So when you in that situation and you missing them, you're going to lose. You know what I mean? So we haven't been doing that, but I don't want it to come back up again. Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, well, one of the reasons I don't think it could come back up because of 2 heavy missed tacklers and Eric Wilson and even Alex Singleton. Not so much of he's just getting ran over at times, but again, I think Singleton can give you some spark in that 10 to 15 snap area, right? Davion Taylor, a guy who can fly to the ball. You've seen him make some crucial tackles, not only to fumble on a 4th and 1. I seen him get to the ball on the outside the hash marks, outside the numbers, and make tackles in the backfield against guys like Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams last week. We saw him do it against one of the upper echelon pass catching running backs in DeAndre Swift. We handled Austin Eckler pretty much except for the 4th quarter. So as you and Kayla Day said, the tackling has been booty in the beginning. I think all that's been shored up with Sirianni or Gannon, whoever's doing it, finding out, all right, look, we got to get this guy out. We got to get this guy out and changing things up. Plus, it's not easy when, as Gates said, you play soft zone and you got these guys who are young and inexperienced. So instead of staying their ground, right? If a tight end or a running back catches the ball in the soft zone and you start heading upfield to get them, they got the advantage. One move, you miss that tackle, it's over, right? But they're so far off, they have to run up. If they stay their ground, it's better chance they get the tackle, but that's another 5 yards pickup, right? So I think the angles we were taking in that soft zone were asking a lot for a young team. This ain't Ray Lewis. This ain't Ed Reed. You take the wrong angle on a young player, you're not going to get the tackle. Where a Troy Polamalu, a Brian Dawkins, Sheldon Brown take the wrong tackle. They let their athleticism and their playmaking ability take over. Shoestrings and whatnot. Malcolm Jenkins back in the day, but we don't got that. You got to play sound.
Yeah. Keenan Allen got us on one of those plays to where if you looked at the technique of all the corners, they had that, that they were playing inside leverage. So they were giving up the outside, and then he got to Avonte Maddox, and this is where you don't know if this is concept and scheme. So it's hard to say who's at fault, but Avonte this time he's outside leverage. So that was me. He's expecting a safety or somebody to come down with the inside leverage part of that. And if you just watch that play, there's an assignment. Someone missed their assignment there because Keenan Allen it was far too easy for that play. That was just straight up playing backyard pitch and catch. That's what you didn't see in Denver. You saw, limitations with Steven Nelson, or where Steven Nelson, it's like, all right, man, I see why they don't play so much man with Steven Nelson. Although to be honest with you, although we don't play a lot of man, he does lead us in man coverage snaps. But
funny, right? That's the funny part.
Exactly, because we just don't play a ton of man. Although I will say, starting with with LA, should still be San Diego. Let's just be real. Starting with the Chargers, you saw that a little bit more man being played, especially on third down. It's going to be about assignment on this football team, right? Because there's no one like on the Saints offense. Like Callaway's having, he's doing decently, but there's not like that, that one player that makes me like, oh crap, like here we go. Like, you know what I mean? Like I knew that Keenan Allen I knew he was going to be a problem with the Chargers, right? Like I don't see that one guy where I think to myself, like, we got to go lock this guy down. Like he's going to be a problem if we don't lock him down. So it's really, to me, it's about assignment. Can you be in your assignments correctly? And can we not have any of these crazy, weird scheme concepts that are just flawed? And I don't think we will. I honestly don't think they're going to respect them to give them 8-yard windows in terms of zone. I don't think that's going to happen today. I would be shocked if it did.
Yeah. Well, Eagle Nation, real quick, I'm going to answer your question. I don't do nothing specifically before the game, but if I'm watching the game now, I do the live play-by-plays now. So I watch it with the subscribers who come into my chat and watch it with me. But dang sure, if we say a certain word and something's working, we keep it rotating. The same thing. When I was watching it with the kids and the wife downstairs or friends, if certain people were in the room and we were winning, they got to stay in the room, vice versa. I'm all that superstitious stuff when it comes to the Eagles games. Like if I'm holding my son on my left lap, like, sorry, son, you sitting with me the rest of the game. If you're not, get up off my lap. Like it'd be like that. It'd be like that when I was watching it downstairs. But now, I rock out with y'all, but we try to stay positive. There'll be a lot of Negadelphians. As soon as we go down 7-0, they're all in the first quarter, like in my chat, we're gonna lose. I'm like,
I ain't gonna lie. I'm not like that with the Eagles, but I am like that with the Sixers. If I turn on the Sixers game, right, and they up like 7, and then they start losing while I'm watching, I cut the game right off. I catch y'all later. That's my fault.
Yeah,
the Sixers broke me. Okay, they broke me last year, man. They broke me last year. I covered the Sixers. I did cover them for a little small bit of time, and then they went on that road trip out west last year. I was done with them, bro.
That's where we at. That's actually where we at right now on a road trip out west. 6-game road trip. Yeah, just lost to
Portland last night.
Yeah,
I couldn't do the game,
but did beat the Nuggets though. That was
Tyrese Maxey though. There's gonna be a solo video about that man, because that man is a dog. Yeah. Shout out to Jose Serrano, definitely a Sixer Eagle fan, with the $2 super chat. He said, super pumped for this game. Super pumped. This game is important. Fly Eagles, fly. Yeah, I'm just trying to keep it Eagles and Saints. But best believe playoffs are going to be coming out of my mouth 24/7 once we get this game over with.
But here's the thing with that, Mike. here's the thing with that. This is another team in the hunt that if you beat, you got a leg up on them. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
sir.
We already beat one team in the hunt, and man, who do we beat? It'll come to me. But yeah, you already beat
Carolina.
Yeah, Carolina. You already beat Carolina. If you beat this team, if we end up with the same record,
You got
we
a
get in.
tiebreaker.
Yeah, we get in. So
There's only one team in the hunt that got the tiebreaker over us, and so I'm gonna be watching them. Hopefully they lose. It's the Niners. The Niners.
Oh, the Niners. Wait, so where Tampa Bay at?
Tampa Bay is they're fighting. They're gonna win a division.
Okay.
Well, I'm talking about that 6 and 7 wild card spot. It's
I
the
got you.
Niners, the Vikings, the Panthers, the Saints, the Falcons, but the Falcons are who we thought they were, so we ain't worried about that. You know what I mean?
Falcons still in the hunt?
Not no more. Not after that $25.
Not after that. That was a debacle. Yo, that's crazy. And yo, you know what's crazy? I forgot to set my lineup, and I never put Matt
I had
Ryan
Mike
in there.
Davis in my freaking lineup. He got me like 3 or 4. I'm pissed.
I didn't put what you call it in my lineup. I'm like, damn, I forgot to put him in my lineup. Game already started. I'm so happy that I forgot to put him in my lineup. He had like I think 9 points. Matt Ryan.
Yeah, he was trash. Well, don't worry. Listen, I mean, the Falcons been screwing me all over. I had Mike Davis in my lineup. He got me like 3 or 4. And when Calvin Ridley decided to just retire, I needed him, and I got a flat 0. You know what I mean? So thanks for just retiring.
I thought he got hurt.
No, he said he mental health, but he's taking it more than like Lane. He said he might be done of football. He might just be done. Hopefully he comes back for Atlanta. You know what I mean? Shout out to 2-7. This must be a Saints fan. And like I said, we welcome all the opponents in here, and it's all about sportsmanship, right? I'm all about the trash talking if we're keeping it sports, because you shouldn't like us. We shouldn't like you when we're on the field together. You know what I mean? But kudos to y'all. One of my right-hand man's a Saint fan. He's been texting me already. He's not going to talk in here, but he's probably been tuning in a little bit. He said wide receivers. So now we know Callaway's number 1, Traquan Smith, and number 3 is Deontay Harris, who he's a problem in the return game, right? So if a team like the Saints want to come on the road and get a W, it's that they need a full team effort, right? They need their offense to not be turnover worthy. They need their defense to do what they do, because that's the strength of it, but they're going to need special teams. And Deontay Harris can return punts and kicks, so watch out for him. And I forgot they had Kenny Stills. So, you know, he's a guy who can streak down the field.
Yeah, he killed us in that Miami game a couple years
ago.
But
shout out to him.
We almost at that time. What we doing?
Yeah, let's give our 2 offense and defensive player of the game. We're predicting it and our score prediction. So chat, let me know who's your offense and defensive stars this game, and score prediction. We'll start with whoever wants to go first.
I'll go first off. I'll go defense. Let's start defense. Man, that's a tough one, man. Just because like looking at who's out there, honestly. I'm gonna say I got a feeling Javon Hargrave's gonna make a reappearance today. I just feel like they're gonna have to overcompensate because of the tackle play. I just got a feeling like this is a game you can see Javon Hargrave reappear. So I'm gonna say Javon Hargrave. He's been quiet for a few weeks now. I'm gonna say just take a wild guess and take a wild, throw a dart at the board, basically. Say Javon Hargrave.
All right.
Offensively, this is a tough one, man. Ooh, I don't know, man. I have a weird, sneaky suspicion that as bad as Jalen Reagor has been, and it's been bad, he's going to get a touchdown in this game. I just have this weird, sneaky suspicion that this coaching staff and these players, I think they listen more to the media than they're letting on. Of course, everyone does, but I think they in particular do. And I think they hear the noise. So I feel like that's one of those really sneaky ones that you don't see coming, that hasn't, there's no reason to pick him, guys. I mean, he hasn't done crap for, since really like early in 2020 season. So, I mean, I just feel like that's that one where if you play the matchup correctly with the over heightened focus on Jalen Hurts and, Devontae Smith, and then that focus being on, Dallas Goedert, trying to lock up those guys. I just feel like he's a guy that could get lost in the shuffle, right? I feel like that's a guy that you could easily lose in the shuffle.
Yeah, that was my take real quick. Before, I'm not gonna say mine, but that was my take on Rager. Like, this is a game where I can see him get that 70 and a touchdown, and I'll take that as a good stuff. So Hargrave and Rager, keep your eyes open, chat for them too. Gate City called it, and score prediction. I know you always try to get up out of there.
I'm gonna say, look, I'll say this is gonna be under 50 points. Newsflash, guys, I'm an Eagles fan. If you think I'm picking against the Eagles, go back to every video. I guarantee you won't find me picking against them. I'm gonna say something like 24-20 Philly. I think it's gonna be one of these games that where it's not gonna be really high scoring, but I definitely think it's gonna be one of those ones where it comes down to the wire. Somebody's gonna have to make a play to win this game.
Man, I'm gonna go with offense and defense. I'm gonna go with the guys that just got paid this week. You got paid. It's time to show up. So defense, I'm going with Avonte Maddox, man. I need a pick from you. You have been playing solid defense, but I need some turnovers from you, big dog. And obviously we all and shout out to him getting paid. Actually, shout out to that whole 2018 draft, other than Matt Pryor, who got traded, getting paid. The future. You know what I mean? Shout out to Howie on that one, man. I ain't even gonna lie. Howie, I talked about this at the beginning of the season. I think that was his best draft. You hit on every last pick. You only have 5, and you hit on every last pick. So shout out for that. So we're gonna go to offense. Dallas Goedert. I know I picked Jackson to be the the shocking guy, but that's only 1 touchdown. I don't think he gets a lot of targets. I think Dallas Goedert is used. He gets 7 to 8 receptions for 80 something yards. You know what I mean? And be more Philly, you're tripping. JJ Arcega-Whiteside's not getting a reception at
that. Yo, that's what I'm saying. Like, best believe I'm gonna turn
score position real fast. I'm with you, Gates. I think it's a close one. I said last game was going to be a blowout. I think this is a close one, but I think it's close, and we pull away. In the fourth. I'm gonna go 27-21 Eagles, of course.
All right. You know what I mean? It's like I'm always looking at which running back to pick, right? Because of how run oriented we've been. I do think this is a game where I think it's going to be more balanced, right? We saw 14, 17, 20 something, 21, 22 pass attempts. I see Jalen Hurts gets north of 25, 26. That's not saying we're not going to run the ball 25 or 27 times. It just might not be in the high 30s or the mid 30s. I really want to go he's back. I got to give Miles Sanders some props. I think he's going to ball out, right? I know behind closed doors, he sent the heck yeah with all caps to Sirianni after the first 35-plus running game in his absence against the Detroit Lions. But deep in his mind, he's like, bro, I got to execute. I can't come out there and I know it's context, right? We're going against the number 1 rush defense where Denver was good, but yeah, and Lions and the Chargers were trash and we exploited it. The Saints got the number 1. So there's going to be Eagle fans saying that I see Sanders shouldn't be getting the blah, 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 blah. So Sanders, do what you got to do and go out there and ball, because this is a contract year for you. You just seen a bunch of people get paid, extended, not the 19 draft, but the 18 draft, and Goddard, Sweat, Mailata, Avonte Maddox, and I think I said them all. So go out there and get your 100 yards. Be the first Eagle running back this season to get 100. We had some close ones with 80 something, but none over 100 yards for Miles Sanders. 1 touchdown since Gate took my regular touchdown. And I'm going to go on the defensive side of the ball. I love me some big play Slay, pause. But I'm going to go with Eagle Nation. Davion Taylor.
We can split the credit, Mike. If he has that game, I'll split the credit with Mike. But if he goes 1 catch for 8 yards, you're taking some of the blame with me.
I got you. I'm going to go Davion Taylor. He just forced a fumble. I'm gonna go with Eagle Nation. I'm gonna steal it. He got a pick. Davion Taylor gets a pick, and with that 4.3 speed, watch out. He might take it to the house. Score prediction. 28-20.
We all got pretty close.
28-20, but I think it's gonna be more. We were winning. It's gonna be like one of them games where it was like 28-13 at one point, and you're feeling good, and that last touchdown's at the end. I'm gonna be able to chill in the fourth quarter, hopefully.
Hey, be more Philly, man. Boo to that Dookie crap. I don't want to hear about another Duke.
Wait, what did he say about Duke? I ain't even say it.
He trying to mess with me, man.
Yeah, I know. Bro, y'all losing today. Hey, we'll see. We'll see. I hope you got that same energy when we get that dub. You know what I mean?
Yeah, shout out to Saints Nation. They've been up in here a little bit. You know what I mean? They've been up in here, so I ain't mad at the game. You know, all's fair until we start winning. I'm gonna talk my talk. Come join the live play-by-play house where I'll be. I don't hide. But yeah, the Saints have that coaching staff that could find a way to rally. Just not this week. Sorry about that. We want this. You're going against a team that hasn't won at home. We hungry.
Oh, you know they're mad about last. You know they're mad about last year.
Yeah, they are.
And it's nice out there. It's like 50-something degrees. I should have went to this game, man. I can't be at no game cold, but damn, it definitely got to. You got to pull this. You have to. It's so many reasons. Number one, for the fans, obviously, but like we said about the playoff spot, like you're ahead of two guys in the hunt. If you get that win, and then we know what the rest of the schedule look like. The best quarterback that you facing after this is Heineke. If Dallas is in a situation to where as though they don't got to play anybody.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But if we keep winning and they take a couple losses, then that might not be the case. But it is what it is with that. We'll see when they get there. But when you look at the schedule that we got coming up, you got Washington twice, you got the Giants twice, and you got the Jets. All bottom feeders. You know what I mean? People can call us what they want, but I think that we're better than those teams. So you come out with this dub, man. Sky's the limit, baby.
Yes, sir. Hey, look, at the end of the day, rebuilding, retooling, didn't believe in this guy at the beginning of the season, changing their mind, this, that, and the third. Having December football that is meaningful is always fun, right? Whether we are under 500, wondering how we have meaningful football, that is besides me. Knowing that I'm watching games late November, early December, that means something in the sense of, it's not just for next year and a chance to get to the playoffs. That's what I want. And it starts today. The playoff run starts today. With all that being said, I go by Philly Mike, host of the Philly Talk podcast, Gate City, host of Gate City Sports Talk, and Philly Fresh, host of the Philly Fresh Show. Search that on YouTube. Subscribe to everyone. We do content all throughout the week. We're not just a group of people who talk pregame during Sundays. We drop content Monday through Friday. Hit the like button. You do not understand how much that helps.
410 tacky, man. Hey, we appreciate that. If you come back after you guys lose, we'll really, that's manning up, man. We'll appreciate that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I appreciate it. I'm going to rub it in your face, but I appreciate it.
With all that being said, again, we'll all be talking about a win or loss. No matter what, as 410 is, he'll come back, so will we. Until next time, hit the like, subscribe, greatly appreciated. We are out. Peace.
Yo, that